Day 3. Welcome. I am C-Mac. On the left of me, I have my brother. I beat the boy, C-Mac. And on the right of me, I got the one, the only, Big Chris.
DJ Big Chris, the Grand Imperial Big Chris, aka the Walking Big Body.
This is From the Drive to the Driveway. We did it your way, now try it our way. Now sit back and have some fun, buckle your seatbelts, and let's have a conversation. Let's go! Welcome, everyone. Welcome.
What up, fellas?
You know, it's another episode upon us. I want to say thank you for whoever is here with us tonight. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate you. But before we start, I want to give all thanks to the one and only true living God, Jesus Christ. That's first and foremost.
Amen.
Also, I just want to let everybody know if you're on, please don't forget to comment, share, and subscribe. Now let's start off, and I want to introduce a new guest to the show. First time on, Mr. Anthony Williams. Welcome, my brother. I appreciate you. I appreciate having you on tonight. You know what I mean? So tonight we're gonna have actually two. Mayor Harvey is gonna come on. Add him on once he gets here. But tonight's episode is actually an episode that's straight from the podcast itself, from the drive to the driveway. This should be a good one. Hope everybody can sit back, relax, and really let's have a conversation about this, because I've been waiting to hear all my brothers that's here today. I would like to hear like a lot of feedback about how you grew up versus how we grew. Versus how today's generation is. You know what I'm saying? And I just want if everybody could go, from Roland to Big to my twin brother to Ant, just to give us a little bit about your how you grew up and everything like that. If y'all don't mind.
Who's going first? Me?
You go ahead, Roland. You could give me a little bit of your background.
Roland, born in 1978 in the city of Newburgh at St. Luke's Hospital down on Du Bois Street.
Facts. That's my block, born and bred.
Grew up off of Robinson.
Yo,
About time, huh?
Welcome.
my bad.
All good. We just want to welcome Mayor Harvey as well. Harv, I was just we were just saying tonight's episode is pretty much about the episode is called From the Drive to the Driveway. It actually, is what my podcast is about. But I really wanted to touch on a lot about how we grew up and what we see today, in our profession versus our home life versus everything. You understand what I'm saying? So I said, I would like Roland was just saying, I wanted everybody to give a little bit about their life. You know what I'm saying? Then we can start off from there. We can have a conversation. So Roland going to start first. Then it's going to be whoever else after. And then we'll just go on like that.
Cool.
Yeah, so 1978, city of Newburgh. Grew up on Robinson Avenue. Went to North when it was 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. And then after that, we went to NFA, Maine, where there was open campus.
Facts.
So you can see we already had a different mind state about things back then. Just basically lived my life. I've always been in the Burgh. I've traveled all around and all that, but there was just I don't know how to explain it. But when you leave Newburgh, there's something about Newburgh, for me, that's home. And it's it's not like the Burgh. You know what I mean? But it's been all my life chilling.
Okay. What about you, Big?
I was born in the 60s. I came up in the street. By 7 o'clock, I had to come in the house. So you get it? I was in the street in front of the house. By 7 o'clock, when the street light came on, I had to get inside.
Yeah.
And we had my grandmother was a professional butt whooper. We had our own bush out front. Switches came from that bush. This is a true story. I got pictures of the house back then. We had our own bush for switches. She didn't have to come off the porch. So yeah, I grew up in Newburgh. I've been in Newburgh since forever. I moved out for a little bit here and there, but I'm here.
Okay. How was the life growing up, though, Yurt?
I didn't have it. My family will tell you I was the one that was spoiled because me and my brothers and sisters got split. I moved in with my grandmother and grandfather, who were both retired. So, and you know, I was the kid that you have when you don't have kids no more. You know, so I pretty much, you know, I was. They say I was spoiled. I don't remember it, and I never will remember it. I'm gonna deny all of those allegations. You know, once you get into the streets of Newburgh a little bit, you know, you start running with different gangs, different groups. But for some reason, you know, the church upbringing, my grandfather was a bishop, my grandmother was a traveling evangelist. So those teachings keep you kind of grounded. And the respect level when I came up was, if I did something in the street, it wasn't what I had to answer in the street. It was what I had to answer when I got home. And the representation of my last name meant a lot. And it meant a lot because my grandfather was big. He had a 60 belt, so I couldn't get away from that. So I didn't really get into the hardcore of the streets. But I'm street savvy. In Newburgh, and like the producer said, Newburgh is home. I'm gonna feel kind of funny when I move. But if you keep a straight head and you stay in your lane and you look forward and don't mind everybody else's business, you can get through. I know it's the city you read about, but you got to be here to really understand it.
Facts. I believe that too. Let's go, Ant.
So my name is Anthony Williams. I was born and raised in Brownsville, Brooklyn. Those of you who know anything about Brooklyn, Brownsville is probably one of, famous for probably one of the most roughest areas in Brooklyn. About 16 projects. I was born and raised in Riverdale Towers, across the street from Tilden Projects. Through the grace of God, He blessed me with the talent to be able to play basketball. So that kind of kept me off. That kind of kept me out of the mix, really. I mean, it actually created a safe haven for me. When my projects had beef with the projects across the street, I was able to, go in any project because of my talent. Back in the days, those of you who were born in the 70s and 80s, even when, people was at war in the neighborhood, there was a respect factor when somebody had talent that everybody rallied around and took care of that talent like it was their own. So I was kind of good in every project, in every area in my neighborhood. I was born in a single parent household. I actually read a stat when my oldest son was graduating middle school, maybe about 6-7 years ago, that 13% of young men that graduate high school coming out of Brownsville, New York, go to college. Only 13%.
Copy.
So
That's nuts.
Interestingly enough, when I think back, growing up, I didn't meet a black man that had a master's degree or that was in college that came back and told us how to get it. So I admired the hustlers, the rappers, the athletes and things like that. But like most kids, a lot of people go into education because all their life they probably thought they were going to be a teacher, so on and so forth. But we begin the podcast by a prayer, and so I think that this was my calling. I think this was God that put me in the position I'm in. I didn't know what I was gonna. I wouldn't. Nobody in my neighborhood would have thought that Anthony Williams was going to be an educator, let alone a principal one day. But I think that it was through those experiences, that's what made me be able to connect with my students and what made me go into education. So, that's pretty much it. I always heard. I didn't hear about Newburgh until I was probably in high school, because I didn't even know upstate New York existed past, the Bronx. I didn't leave my neighborhood much. But when I did hear about Newburgh once I was going to college, everybody referred to it as the sixth borough or Brownsville of the Orange County area and stuff like that. So it wasn't until I met, my brother Harv at a staff retreat where, I was able to be introduced to somebody that was actually from Newburgh, where, I could kind of ask questions and get more familiar with the area.
That's a fact. Well, you home now, Ant. We here, brother. You family now, my G. That's a fact. Yo, Corey, you want to go up next yet?
Yeah. Hey. Hey, man.
All good, son. Let it out. Let it out.
Man. Hey, man. It's been rough. You know what I mean? For me
Facts.
in New York, man. Thorough 6, like he said, and I thank Jesus for getting us out of it, man. Because
all day long.
If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. It's a rough place, man. But look, that's my twin right there, Kurt. We born and raised on Du Bois Street. Du Bois Street is one of the roughest places you can come from. Like right on down to Landon First, where I come from as well. So, through it all, Jesus saved me and it made it out.
Saved us, bro. Real talk.
Word is gone, man. I got stories forever, but we can sit here and talk forever about that, but we won't. Christ before He saved me.
Already
today.
What about you, Harv?
Yeah. What's up, fellas? Apologies to everybody for my tardiness.
All good, brother. All good.
Yeah. So I was born and raised in Poughkeepsie, New York. I was born in the Charles Street Projects. My dad, who was my biological, never married my mom's, but it was the only father that raised me. I'm the youngest of 8. The first to graduate high school, the first to graduate college, first to get a master's degree. I too am a twin. I have an identical twin brother, like like the McMillan brothers. So Wonder Twin power activate. And so I grew up, my brothers and sisters were all in the drug game in Charles Street, Smith Street. And there's like 7 projects, and they don't look like projects like in New York City, but there's 7 housing projects in Poughkeepsie, Charles Street, Smith Street, Tubman Terrace, Rip Van Winkle, Martin, Delafield projects, and Eastman Towers. So it's like seven housing projects in Poughkeepsie. Poughkeepsie very much similar to Newburgh. Newburgh's always been a more grittier city. Because there was always more, there's more violence, more
unfortunate, man.
Unfortunately, more poverty because of IBM being in Poughkeepsie, the Galleria Mall, Southfields Mall. I always tell people I was born in the 70s, but made in the 80s because I came up through the hip hop, the golden era of hip hop. Eric B from Eric B and Rakim, he'll tell you, because he's one of my best friends. He'll tell you, don't let Harv fool you. He's one of the TNT twins from MTV, and he was a part of the hip hop golden era. So Eric B always tells people that, I don't like to toot my own horn. I let other people, speak about some of the hip hop stuff. But it was the arts. It was the performing arts that got me out of the hood. Got me out of trouble. My father was always an entrepreneur, grocery stores, hot dog trucks. My father was Willie, and he was known as Chili Willie. Chili Willie was in the hood, grocery stores and hot dog trucks. So he always showed all of us 8 children how to, what he called, scuffle and make an honest living. My father also was the first Black beautician in the city of Poughkeepsie in the 1960s, first Black male beautician, because my father went to Madam C.J. Walker School of Beauty in Indianapolis. My father used to do hair.
That's fire.
Before he went into grocery stores and hot dog trucks. He used to be a beautician for many years. And, because he was a very light-skinned, good-looking Black man, they thought my father was gay. and because he was the first black male beautician in Poughkeepsie, New York. But what people didn't know, he had these women mesmerized, and I'm not going to get into the details. After he put his hands on their head, and it was, anyway, that's another story. But anyway, so my father, I was raised in a 2-parent household, even though my mom and dad was never married. My transition to Newburgh was after my mom and dad split after 28 years. My family became homeless. Me and my twin brother, we slept in a van. We met a pastor named Reverend Saul Williams. He invited us to Baptist Temple Church on William Street back in 1991. And I always tell people I was born in Poughkeepsie, but I was born again in Jesus' name, in the name of the Father, Son, the Holy Ghost, in Newburgh. I was reborn here, in Christ. So that's why I always have a lot of passion, love. Yeah, clap it up for them.
Real quick. If anybody that's not using headphones, make sure that your speaker's not covered. Because I think that's what the little get back is.
A little thing? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Just make sure your speaker's not covered.
Yeah, mine's not. So I was born reborn in Jesus' name in Newburgh in 1991. And so I moved here as a 19-year-old after, going through, like I said, homelessness. 6 months, and so that's why I always have a serious, and I saw the texture of Newburgh and its potential and the beauty, within the people. It's a gritty city, but people love hard too. But it takes a while for you to win people over in Newburgh. But when people trust you and they know you and they learn you got good intentions, they love you hard. And one of the things I love about Newburgh is the fact that, Newburgh, man, it's always a tough city. It really is like the sixth borough. It really is like the sixth borough because we're only 66 miles north of New York City. So Newburgh was closer to New York City than Poughkeepsie. You know what I'm saying? Even though Poughkeepsie's on a Metro North line directly to Grand Central, and the local takes you to the Bronx, but like Newburgh was more like New York City when I came here. It's nothing like it is today. And I used to rock in Newburgh, in the 80s when I was in high school. Like we used to come to Newburgh, but you had to check in with dudes. You had to check in. It's like you know what I'm saying? If you wanted to go to Albany Projects in Brooklyn and Bedford-Stuyvesant, or if you wanted to go to 40 Projects in Queens, or if you wanted to go to Southside Jamaica, Queens, Hillside Avenue, you had to check in with dudes in the black community. So I remember at 16, 17, checking in with Sonny Chief, checking in with Tom Cool, checking in with Ish and House and all of them on the app. Because those were the only dudes that I really knew was on the app. Then in the Heights, you had Kool-Aid and all of them, and Rab, Kool-Aid, my man Big Ron Williams, who became my best friend. He was in my wedding. Larry Love, DJ Larry Love, and Linda and all of them. So, like you had to like check in with dudes in the 80s. Because if you was not from Newburgh and you didn't know somebody, you get robbed, you get trashed, especially if you say you was from Power King.
That's
You
very
get jumped
true.
at the bus station.
Huh?
You get jumped at the bus station.
You get jumped at the bus station. So if you get caught up talking about New York City or Brooklyn or the Bronx or whatever, and you was stomping your feet in Newburgh because you had to walk lightly in here, man, especially in the 80s and the 90s.
That's a fact, though. That's a fact, though. You
had to walk lightly.
You know what I'm saying?
I remember you and your brother in the early 90s. Y'all was the what I used to call y'all. Because Chris, I'm being serious. I'm just being truthful. Chris Hughes knew y'all better than I did. I didn't, you know what I'm saying?
Usually.
I used to be them the high yellow boys from across the river, right? The dancing dudes. I'm saying dudes, but y'all used to dance and all that, man.
Yeah, we was dancing.
High yellow. But you can blame my pops for that high yellow thing. I joke with it all the time. But I remember high yellow twins from across the river, man.
Yo,
yeah, man. Hey, we try to put the whole Mid Hudson Valley on our back when we was making moves in New York City, Times Square. We catch the the A train to East New York, you know, and try to break dance with them dudes out in East New York. We had to make sure we come back, get out of East New York before sunset. Because if we went to East New York on the A train and you didn't get out of there before sunset in the summertime,
That's
the
a
dudes
fact.
were robbing the train cars. They were just robbing dudes like gunpoint, you know. So you know, and it was the arts, man. The arts took me out of me and my twin brother. You know, we love basketball, we love football, we love sports, but a lot of dudes didn't think we was talented enough in those areas. So we focused on martial arts and the performing arts. And so anyway, so and we got on MTV, man. We was 1988 all the way to 1993. We was on MTV and film all over the world. You know what I'm saying? And MTV was international. So
Yeah, the high yellow dancing twins. I remember
yeah,
them.
yeah, we was the dancing twin.
You know what I'm saying?
And at first we was coming out of Poughkeepsie, then we went to East Fishkill for a couple of years, but then we was Newburgh since we was 19. So I'm 52 years old. I've been in Newburgh 33 years, and all my kids were born and raised here. You know what I'm saying? I got married here. I found Christ here. So yeah, that's me.
That's
But
what's up.
yo, that's what's up, y'all. Yeah, well, my twin brother said it all for us. So the reason why I'm doing this episode and I wanted to hear from everybody is because yo, this is a state of emergency for kids today, man. Like there is no morale, no respect from a lot of them, man. And I know from my co-workers, which is my brother and my brother Harv, my brother Roland, we chat about this a lot. You know what I'm saying? But but like for example, right? One of the first topics I want to talk about, it was yo, chill, baby. It wasn't my first topic that I wanted to talk about, but since it happened, you know, the draft came on the second how you call it, the second round came on Wednesday, and let's talk about it. I'm quite sure everybody knows nepotism at its best. Your boy Bronny James went to the Lakers. Now, this is kind of what I'm talking about, man. This is one of the things. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's nepotism. Something like all our stories that we just said, we pretty much we came up from the mud. And nepotism is at to me is at an all-time high right now. These kids don't have, like I said, again, a lot of respect. Roland, I know you sitting over there. I can't wait. I know you can't
Everything
wait.
is fake, man. What do you expect? We living in the matrix, man.
You know, I really feel.
Just say what you feel, Max. Say what you feel.
Everything's ran by kids, man.
But
this is why we in the state of emergency, because it starts at home, brother. Ain't nobody parenting the kids, parenting the parents. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So, like, what do y'all feel about nepotism, man? What do y'all feel? Anybody can go. Anybody.
I mean, like, yeah, it's the way you look at it. Like, yeah, we see Bronny and LeBron, but then I'm starting to look at things as like, what if I was in that person's shoes? You know what I mean? Like, if you had the chance to play with your son in the NBA first time, I mean, would you do it?
But Roland, no, I would do it if I was there. I would do it if he was good enough to make the NBA. He wasn't that good. Everybody knew he wasn't.
That's what I don't watch college basketball. No, that's what I'm hearing. That he's not that as good.
Bro,
but how come I hear these other things like, oh, at the trials and all that, he was amazing and this and that. And I go look at his stats, and it was like 4 points a game for 25 games. Yeah. And I'm like, yo, what are we talking about here? What are we talking about here?
I'm always advocate.
I know you're the advocate, big.
Of the other side. Okay, so
next.
You got LeBron, and hear what I'm saying in detail. LeBron, who is arguably the top 3 players we've ever seen. Arguably. You can make the argument. You might lose, but you can make the argument.
You might win.
You might win.
His son comes up groomed by every NBA player who's ever been around.
Mm-hmm.
Groomed by the same guy we put in the top 3. He can actually play the game, has all the fundamentals, can shoot, can run, can defend. He's only going to get better. He's 19. His father has the chance. His father,
Right.
of his seed, his father has the chance to bring him into his profession and groom him to have longevity within that profession without getting beat, without making the bad decisions because you're still with your father. At some point when he does grow up in the next 2 or 3 years, then we can have a conversation over whether or not he's able to take the reins on his own. But for now, his father's in position to bring him in,
Right.
groom him.
But I think that's what Mac's talking about, though. Like, yeah, his father's in the position to bring him in, but does he deserve to be brought in?
Wait, hold on.
You know what I mean? There are other basketball players that I'm sure have better stats than him.
Absolutely. But listen, this is the thing. What do we call what was LeBron James' nickname coming into the league?
He named himself that. That was self-proclaimed.
The chosen one.
No, but what do we call him?
The Queen.
No, you know what it is.
King James.
King James. Now think about it.
Queen James.
Now here's the social studies teacher bringing the social studies context to this whole argument and debate. He's called King James.
No, self-proclaimed. I don't call him King James.
He's a self-proclaimed King James. So what do kings do when they step off the throne?
The prince gets the job.
The prince gets the job. So it's not coincidence that his nickname is King James, like King Charles III, or like, you know, when King Charles leaves or abdicates his throne, you know the Prince William is the next king, whether he's eligible or not.
Well, that's considering that's saying LeBron.
That's high time nepotism.
He's not. He's not.
I know, but I'm saying look how they. And I knew that this. Listen to what was going on the last couple months before the draft. Yo, LeBron was frustrated that they didn't go far in the playoffs. He was mad. He was already talking to Kyrie Irving, trying to piss up to Kyrie Irving because they were in the finals. He's want to lead the Lakers. All that talk was going on. LeBron leaving the Lakers. Then all of a sudden they say, wait, his son might enter the draft. Then all that talk about leaving the Lakers calmed down.
Yeah.
So I have a take on that. Well, I'm gonna be honest. On a larger scale, if because of we don't as black people we don't control a lot of these systems. Like LeBron James is the anomaly, right? Meaning that I'm all for nepotism. I'm all for nepotism. The reason why when we get in position to put our kids in position, and I get what you're saying, Mac. Yep. I believe his son should have to work for it. Yes, but if I build the company, I want my son to take it over. That's right. If I could put my son in position, I want my son. And there's so many systems, right, that we don't own, that we don't control. You know, that we don't have the ability to do what LeBron do. We don't have the privilege to do what LeBron do.
And for that fact alone, Williams, I'm proud of it. I'm proud of that move. For that fact alone.
So when I look at it from that sense, I'm like, hell yeah, I would do the same thing. I'm gonna make my son work, right? My son not gonna sit on the bench and be a bum his whole career. But at the same time, like, who am I to say, like, this is done in so many different systems with people that don't look like us. I can't tear them down for doing that.
Well, let me ask you something. All right, listen. Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
What if in 3-4 years, Bronny, and I'm not wishing this on him, is a bum? Now you subject him to the media scrutiny and the things that are gonna destroy him mentally because they ushered him in as this next chosen one, and now he ends up being a bum. That's also on LeBron because you should have known that your son was not going to be able to handle it.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Think about Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan had two sons that played ball, and he's the greatest of all time.
But
Arguably,
he didn't get there though. But he didn't get them in there because they weren't that good.
Exactly.
Yes, allegedly, arguably.
I won't
No,
say
no, there's no argument on that one.
It's not
Yeah,
argument.
like Michael Jordan is dope, and his sons turned out to be basketball bums.
But they got
Basketball bums.
scrutinized too. But they wasn't as good as LeBron's son in basketball.
Allegedly.
It wasn't. And
So somebody explain to me the 4 points per game in 25 games. What's the reason?
No, Roland. I'm not debating that he should have. I think he should have stayed in college, maybe 2 more years, and then I do think he have a potential to be a pro. But you gotta remember, they're looking at it like this, right? The draft is weak. His father has the leverage right now, right?
Yep.
Right. So, who's to say that the kid might not break a leg in a year? Who's to say LeBron is going to not tank and he's not the LeBron we know in another year or two, right? If he got the leverage and he got a chance to make history with his son, because his son has already been in the media. He's already being scrutinized. His son is getting endorsement deals, NIL deals already. Then why not make it happen?
Look at the AI photos of LeBron and Bronny in the Laker uniform. You see 5 different numbers on the dude's jersey, and it's like, wait, what number is he gonna be?
You know what's so crazy, Mac?
Yes, sir.
You know who's gonna make the most money out of all of this? The Lakers.
Ronnie.
The Lakers.
The Lakers. Yeah.
What's
the other son? It's not even gonna be LeBron and his son.
Bryce.
The media, the Lakers, they're gonna make the most money off this.
Bryce.
Bryce is better than Bronny.
Yeah, Bryce. Now Bryce is going to be that dude.
He hasn't. What work has he put in?
Now Bryce putting in a lot right now.
A lot of work.
Hold on, wait. I don't know what kind of work he's been putting in because the light is on him because of his brother. His brother had the light on him when he was the same age, playing AAU, tearing up the court.
Yep.
That's a fact.
Because of his father. So
Yes,
it's trickling down. So I don't know who's doing any work because it's all based on LeBron. We watching Bronny because of LeBron. We watching Bryce because of Bronny. It's all trickling down. So I can't say that I can look at Bryce and he got a better build.
He's
a
taller.
little faster.
He's 6'4" too. He's 6'4".
Bigger and he's younger. He's young and he's already getting money. So it's for me. I don't know how much work he's putting in, but because I'm only getting to see him. I mean, I ain't got to see Arenas' son, and I heard he nice.
Yeah,
but I'm not getting that plug because Arenas is not LeBron. You understand what I'm saying? That's where the advocate comes in. It's like, how can I say Bryce is putting the work in when all I see is Bryce? I don't know. I'm seeing him because they put him on every video.
Well, listen, Chris, on GP, the fact that these boys got LeBron James DNA and they come from his loins, they come from his sack. Okay, the fact that they come from his loins, and he's one of the biggest man child that we've seen come out of St. Mary's. All right, and he's from Akron, by the way, which is where my daddy's from. My daddy's from Akron.
That's why you talk, because the biasness is running through your veins right now.
The fact
I don't know about that. But Michael Jordan's son wasn't that good, man.
Bro. But
hear me, y'all.
He's got on the most popular hat in the NBA right now. So I'm going to give Mr. Mayor a pass on that.
Yo, keep it though. What I'm saying is, like, like watching these guys for the last couple years, I've been literally watching, keeping an eye on Bronny James and stuff like this. All I'm saying, like if I want my sons to, if I was in the NBA, I want my sons to do the same. But I'm a realist at the same time. If you didn't put the work in, and if you're not looking that good, I'm not just gonna say, yo, put you out there and make you look crazy. But I get it. It's like you said, though. It's like you said, man. The Lakers going to make all the money off of that. Why? Because it's a different generation today.
Yeah.
And the reason why they really wanted them is social media presence.
Yeah.
That's the main. See, that's why Roland that's why they're making a big mistake out there too, because he has a heck of a social media. He has over 3 million followers. So nowadays, that's like considered like, wow, that's money. That's free money. We can sell jerseys. We can sell this. We can make all of this. So that's another reason why they got him out there as well. But huh?
Well, look up how many TV games the Lakers is gonna be on TNT and Sunday afternoon. People gonna tune in just to watch Braun on the court and Bronny on the bench in a warm-up suit.
There's going to be a contingency on that contract, because they have to put the Knicks on, and that's just me being biased. That's me being biased. But you notice that there are games that are scheduled that they put something else on because the team has began to go downhill. And I predict the Lakers in their first 28 games to be somewhere around 14-14 or 12-16. And that's not a game you really want to see. Only in the beginning of the season you want to see, and then you're going to pray that his son gets in, throws him an alley on the breaker sub. You just want to pray for it just to see it.
But that's the thing, like, okay, you're willing to sacrifice not you, but I'm talking about them in general. Like, LeBron is willing to sacrifice the team just so he could play with his son. Do you know the dynamic that you got to have to play with your son and play with other professionals on that team? Yeah. Like, how are the professionals to know that you're not giving your son favoritism when it comes to certain things?
But
you know what I mean?
That's the part.
But Roland, did you see? Yo, Mac, you got to be real. Did you see that draft, man? You can't name 15. Those players, that draft was very
But
weak.
I'm being real, though. Like, if you have your son on a team with you, and say your son is messing up, are you going to treat your son like a professional, or are you going to treat him like your son? And in that fact, you got other professionals around you like, why he keep favoring this dude who ain't doing nothing? I'm a professional for how many? 10 years, 7 years. And we going to show limelight to this kid?
Therein lies what I was saying, that your point being made is because there's certain bonuses and what are they called? When you have a contract and there's incentives that have to do with minutes. Now, the only way you can put a best, I know this, the only way you can get a point is being in the game. And if Bronny's in the game just because, and you need 7 points for that extra bonus, and he's in the game just because, guess what? Then things start to stir up in the locker room.
But Chris, that's what I was gonna say. Chris, to your point and Roland's point, I thought you were gonna say this, Chris. Therein lies the perfect storm within the team and in the locker room, because now, like, I'm gonna use a Biggie Smalls musical reference. Money and family don't mix. Like,
money and family does not mix.
You see what I'm saying?
We all gotta realize too that he's really undersized. He's my height, 6'1".
Yeah, he's not even.
He's very undersized.
But to that point, now you got the perfect storm that's going to brew within the Laker organization in the locker room, because now you're going to be like, oh, this guy is a franchise player. Now he's trying to bring in his son.
Did nobody see that?
Huh?
I believe Giannis from the Bucks got his brother.
I said that too.
No doubt. But they're brothers. See, that's different, because you're right.
No. That ain't no different.
Brothers.
I just heard about them, man. They trash.
If it's your son, like, all right, like Kurt say to me.
Hold on a second, Mr. Bear. Hold on a second. I don't like to take over, but when we talk sports, I get really annoyed. Giannis's brother,
Thanasis,
sucks.
And
I don't mean like.
He's putrid.
He sucks. The last thing
he's horrible.
He's playing basketball. But that's where he is. He's on the bench with his brother. I would do the same thing with my brother. My brother ain't never played basketball. Guess what, Shane? You got a spot. We good.
So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right. But see, what's different is, see, you first of all, you got to realize Giannis is a foreign player. He comes in with English not his first language. So the team, the franchise know that You know, Giannis is a star franchise player, and he's got a lot of talent. Now you're gonna bring his brother on, give him a minimum contract so that Giannis feels comfortable around someone, so he could adjust and integrate into the system. But now LeBron bringing his son in, they're not foreign players, and the fact that it's different when you because Max says this to me. Max says, "Yo, my son Mason, that's my baby, that's my youngest, that's my boy." So it's different when you bring in a brother versus your baby, your seed. You know what I'm saying?
But Hog, I'm saying what my man right here was just saying. Giannis' brother can't play. LeBron brother could play. Actually, LeBron's son can actually play basketball.
Yeah.
He
Right.
needs more time.
But
But see, that's an assumption, though. Is it not, though? Isn't that not an assumption, though, to say
What?
that in 4 years he's going to be something?
Yeah, that's a prediction.
That's an assumption, though.
They're using prediction.
Yeah. I mean, it might work out that way. You're right, but
What if it works
we
out?
all know anything could happen.
But put it like this, Roland. His son was a McDonald's All-American. He did well at the high level. Giannis' brother won't start on the G League team.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, but remember, Felipe Lopez was the same way. Felipe Lopez was McDonald's All-American.
You said this. Now, Ed, you said this. You said he was a McDonald's All-American. He was this. He was that. But, bro, he went number 55. That's like the last pick.
You know why? Well, let's
in the NBA draft.
Let's not forget.
Who went number 55?
Listen,
Ronnie James.
Ronnie did,
Mr.
yeah.
Mr. James, Prince James. Let's not forget he had the heart problem.
Yeah.
After that, they limited his minutes. He couldn't really get his bearings.
Of course.
Okay.
Facts.
So let's just take that into perspective. That may be accounted for. And then when he went to the combine, he went to work. He actually went to work. His jumper looked good. His speed looked good. His jumping ability looked good. Mm-hmm. He looked like he was going to be a solid player. Now, his father made sure he went to a team that he could learn.
Yeah.
I can't really be that upset. I'm upset for the other individual that put in 18 years hardcore and should have went 55 and didn't.
Yeah.
That's the individual that I pray gets a shot.
Well, that's to that point. There's a big man from North Carolina State University. They put up next to Ronnie. They had the NC State player. He's a big dark skinned brother. I don't know his name, but they
he's good. He's 6 feet, 45 pounds.
He led his team to the Final Four. Ronnie didn't do none of that. Even get close to the NCAA tournament, and he got drafted. Another guy didn't.
But the thing is, the draft, like Ant said, the draft was sucked. My guy that I coached, he was supposed to be in the top 5. He got hurt, but he went number 32 from Duke, Kyle Filipowski.
Yeah.
Everybody was saying like Tatum's co-sign form was every team who passed him going to feel, and I can say that too since I coached him. The kid been nice since he was young. The kid is nice, bro.
What's his name?
Kyle Filipowski.
Yo, you coached him?
Yeah,
he's Italian. He's Italian,
bro. This is my fourth guy that went to the league, bro.
Where's he from?
He played out. He's from Middletown, but he
really?
played. Yeah, he played with me for 4 years, bro.
I didn't know he was from Middletown.
Yeah, he's from out in the Middletown area, but his mom was like, she played in the Olympics. She's 6'5", and the pops is 6'7". But him and his brother, he got an identical twin brother from Harvard. You know what I'm saying? They both 7 foot, bro. You know what I'm saying? But he's always the better twin.
Is he Italian?
No, they're not Italian. I don't know what they are. They're not Italian, though. I forget what they were, man. But I used to. We coached them for like 3-4 years. You know what I'm saying? When they was younger, and we got them nice. That's why they nice. And I say that to be humble. You know what I'm saying? Because we got 4 kids, NBA and overseas. So, but that's coming from coast to coast. Our program. But overall, like Ian said, it was a weak draft. I don't understand. Like, and being that it was so weak, I felt like anything, Bronny James should have went in the top 20 the way they talked about him. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Will he be good? I wouldn't say he wouldn't be good because I know he got a lot of he can play. He good. I watched him for numerous amount of years. But like Big Chris said, we got to run. Which I forgot that he had the cardiac arrest. You feel what I'm saying? You know, I don't know.
So, I mean, that just I'm just saying that because that may, and I don't know, that may have limited how they used him. Because if you're coaching a kid that something like that goes on and he's coming from the family like he's coming from, and his father is who he is, and his father's connected here and there, you may not want to be the one to put him back in the game, and he go and his heart go crazy again on him. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. You know, I don't know what they were able to do, but you know, bottom line is, I mean, it's his son. Yeah, I got my son on the crew too.
No, facts. I get that. I get that. Well, that was just what I wanted to start off with that type of you know that question. See what the panel had to say, but really, man, let's get on some real meat and potato type stuff about the generation. And again, I always wanted to talk about it. I always talk about it on certain episodes we do and stuff like that. But I really wanted to hear from a lot of us. Like for example, I got a couple things I want to talk about. Like for example, what's the reason for us teaching our kids everything that we didn't get taught? For the real parents out there, so that you can continue to enable and handicap them. You understand what I'm saying? Like, why are we teaching these kids everything? Like, and I'm specifically talking about okay, our kids in our household. But we still handicapping them and still enabling them and babying them stuff and stuff like that. I'm not that type of parent. I don't do that. I teach them everything and I hold them accountable for everything. And I feel like the reason why the kids are the way they are today, because I got to blame the parents for every single thing. Me and Roland had these talks for years, and he said we got to hold the parents accountable, man, because
how many times I said that, bro?
What happened?
How many times I said that? I said a trillion times. That's all I preach.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, that's just one thing, but I'm just saying, like, our kids, man, like, I feel like how they living today, man, is just very... That's why I asked for everybody to tell us our stories from the drive.
Like, Matt, you know we always talk about this.
You know what I'm saying? Yes, sir.
We always talk about this, and it always ends up going back to the parents because, like I told you, and I'm gonna say it, I think there should be a curfew in Newburgh. There should be no 14-year-olds hanging out at 1 a.m. in Newburgh.
That's right.
And we know that it's happening like crazy.
Yes, sir.
It's happening like crazy. There's block parties going on. These kids are so bold with it that they film it and put it on social media. You got 12, 13, 14-year-olds out on the street. And that's parents not caring about their kids. For whatever reason, they're not caring about their kids. So my thing is like this. Boom. If we're going to clean up these streets, curfew. Boom. Set it straight. I know people don't want it. Oh, you can't curfew. But no, we got to clean up these streets. And if we don't do what's supposed to be done to clean up these streets, it's going to get worse. You got people like selling drugs next to the house. It's all in the hood. And it happens because we all been there. We all been there. We all hung out till like 2, 3, 4 in the morning when we was young. And we thought it was okay, but it's gotten progressively worse. And I'm just saying, curfew for anybody, let's say, I don't know, like 16 or 18, like you can't be out in these streets after 9 o'clock.
That's right.
And if you caught out in these streets at 9 o'clock, we're arresting your parents.
That's right.
Because it can't be because these parents, why are these kids out there? Why are these kids out? Even if it's 11:30, forget 1 a.m. If it's 11:30 on a school night, what are you doing out on a school night at 11:30 chilling outside?
And they think they're groomed.
I think Big Chris hit it in the very beginning of the podcast when he talked about, you know, his family name, his family circumstance and his grandparents, with the belt and all that, because it's parental guidance, right? So, like, let's say the city government sets a curfew, but now once the city legislature set the curfew, it's up to law enforcement to enforce, right? So
Right.
law enforcement are going to be like, oh, we got bigger fish to fry. We're not worried about.
Nah, we call them out too. No, we're gonna set this curfew and y'all gonna do your job.
And then the parents, it starts and ends with the parents. Like Big Chris was raised, like I was raised. My daddy will whoop your ass. Use my language. Whoop your butt.
Man,
If you was out and you disrespected the house or my mom's, or if we cussed, or my mother said don't go past that tree, and we went past that tree, and we came back, and my father heard that we went past, he whooped our ass.
What if you didn't know which tree she was talking about? You went past the tree that was just about 4 feet further. You thought she was talking about that one. You still got it because don't question me.
And then
real life right
then when the lights, my mother would say, "Y'all better be in the house when the lights come on in Charles Street projects." So when them project lights and street lights come on, we better be doubling back.
Right. That happened. That's the way. That's happened with all of us or our family. But it's not reality today. And it's a new world. It's a new generation. And like, I speak it because I'm passionate about it, but I by myself cannot do it. That's gonna take everybody getting together and calling accountability. You set the curfew. Then you talk to law enforcement. Say, yo, we're serious about this. You know what I mean?
Right.
And with the curfew, yeah, you can set a curfew, but you got to set guidelines with the curfew. If your children are caught outside the curfew, you will be penalized. You, the parent, will be penalized if your child is out there, because they don't penalize the parents. They don't do none of that.
I bet you it would change.
But
that's what I'm saying. Like, but what you feel about it? How you feel about enabling kids after? And I'll go after that. We'll talk about tradition after that question, Corey. How you feel about it? Like enabling after you done taught them everything, but we still like holding. We don't hold a lot of kids accountable for a lot of stuff, man. And and again, and I'm talking about for the real parents out there. I'm not talking about for the deadbeats, the mamas, boys, because like I will touch on this real quick. I listen to YouTube and listen to a lot of people the last couple of weeks. I've been hearing people saying that single mothers raise the worst kids. What do you think about that? And what you think about that?
I don't subscribe to that. I mean,
Nah?
I think no. I like as my background before I was a principal, I was a school counselor.
Okay.
I've seen kids that grew up in 2-parent households that had a lot of obstacles they had to overcome, and whether it was a divorce or whether it was just a toxic relationship between both parents or guardians, it was a very difficult situation for them. I do believe that the key is, whether you're single and you're in a 2-parent household, is to keep your kids busy, keep them in productive, supervised environments where that people are pouring into them.
Yes, sir.
And I was raised in a single parent household, but I had a lot of I called them, my guardian angels, whether it was coaches, whether it was the local drug dealer on the block who, told me, this ain't for you, you know what I'm saying? So, I believe that, like even when, now that I work in Newburgh, but when I worked in other schools in Orange County, when parents are, trying their best because they're working 9 to 5 or doubles or so on and so forth, whether it was a single parent or whether it was, we have many families who are, working from 5 in the morning or 5 in the afternoon. And what I say is, well, then you got to get your kid involved in something, because idle time at a certain age, we usually find something unproductive to do. And,
Yes,
and the people that make them feel like family, that make them feel like they belong, some of those people in my neighborhood where I was growing up was the gangs.
Yes,
It was the people that was up to no good. So if we can't find those spaces for them, those
this idle time, they're gonna find something to attach to. So you want it to be in productive
True.
spaces where people are pouring into them. Far as like that privilege that when you talk about raising our kid, I always have to remind myself. I'm thinking of my oldest son who I'm struggling with. As a parent. Both parents in his life right now. Is that I always have to remind myself that although I went through what I went through, as a kid, that's not my son's reality, right? In his head, he really think that he working hard and he giving his all. You know what I'm saying? In his head, in his mind. So,
You breaking
but I
you
know
breaking
based
up.
on how I was raised, based on my expectation, that it's not enough.
I hear him.
So I gotta, I try to remind myself on how can I really, tap into, whatever, it is to continue to push him with that. I'm not pushing him away because my oldest is 20 years old, and right
Yeah.
now his father's not the coolest one because I am on him. I am on him because I feel like I
Sound
know
like
what
me.
it takes. Yeah, I know what it takes. I don't want him to fall into certain pitfalls, but at the same time, I gotta remind myself that his reality and his upbringing is not like mine.
Well, I feel you because it's the same thing I'm going through. My son is 24. He'll be 25 in a couple months, 6 months. Um, I'm not the coolest. I was never the coolest dad out there, but I'm old. You know what I mean? I'm not. I'm a traditional guy. Um, I believe in Jesus. I'm a Christian. That's first and foremost. He is too. He's a good kid. One thing about
Mhm.
all my kids, man. But that I came up with the question is because that's what I deal with a lot of that in my household, and I see a lot of it in, where we all work. But for him, you know what I mean. My wife and I were talking about it today. Maybe for some kids, it just take a little bit, a little bit more longer. But
How long though, man?
but that
I got them too. Almost got mine at 26.
What's
So
you
that?
you
What's that?
know,
Your children?
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah,
So
that was.
then there's always we all have an excuse why they stay, but it's like we raise them to get to go on and be strong and get on their own.
But that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of kids don't have that mother or that father or both parents in the household that actually love them enough to tell them like, yo, listen, and give you. I call it the cheat code. I gave my kids the cheat code of life. You know what I'm saying? So again, how yeah, they're not like us, because we gave them the cheat code and we're there for them. We show them much love. But like I said, in a way, I'm a traditional guy, man. Like how I was raised, we were raised with my dad, till I was 12 years old, till he got killed. And then I had my mother, but I pretty much learned a lot from my father until he passed away. You know what I mean? But traditionally, that's how I was raised. You be respectful to your parents. You keep Jesus first. You be respectful to your parents. You be respectful to your elders. If you're learning something, go to school, get the best grades out there, and you earn everything you earn everything you want. Man, you can get these kids everything today, man, and they're still disrespectful.
Yeah, it's like a
Still, like
Spanish.
we said, we're not the favorite. We're not the favorite. If
I'm
you
never a favorite.
and you and I talked about that. You make our boys earn. They get tight at you because you make them
Uh-huh.
get a gig. Or it's the same way in my crib,
Uh-huh.
especially with my oldest. It's the same way. But I look at it like this: when does raising your youngest to be, especially not your youngest, when does it when you're raising, let's say your boys to be a man, when does that become wrong, man? You know what I mean?
In this
When does,
lame era, man. That's where in this lame era.
You gotta
This
think
era,
too.
this era is soft. They want men obsolete. But it
Yeah,
ain't gonna happen not long as I'm living because it's a real man. I stink like one. So
right. But you know what it is too. We always want the best for our children. We raise them to have what we didn't have, and sometimes that cuts like a double-edged sword.
does, bro?
It's like we want our children to have what we never had.
Of
What we
course.
want them to have better. We want them to
yeah,
strive better. And
yeah,
so that knife cuts both ways. It's like we want to do that and give them all the things we didn't have, and then in turn, what that does is that makes them feel privileged, that makes them feel entitled. There's a sense of entitlement that comes with that, and then you know, it's like, you know, you spare the rod, you spoil the child.
But
You
that,
know, nowadays, I said earlier, you know, we got whoopings. We got whoopings when we was coming up.
I did.
Touch a kid. Now they telling you they gonna call CPS and all that. You know, if we even creased our lips to say I'm calling CPS,
yeah, you got to believe it.
you say, now what I'm gonna do to you is worse than what anybody else could do to you. Go ahead and try it, you know, and you didn't do it. You said it. You might have tried to say it.
Yep.
Nowadays, these
If I would have said I'm calling, what is it called?
CPS, Child
If I
Protective
would have
Service.
said I'm calling CPS, they'd have asked me who phone I was using.
Exactly. And then
my mother used to always say, I don't care if the damn president of the United States is standing right here. I'm gonna whoop your ass.
That's
right.
right.
And then they wrap that phone around you with that long cord and say, try to call now.
I got a question though too. Like now think about all we're saying, right?
Yep.
And then because the other thing that we never take into consideration, my wife tries to always remind me of this. And when I think about it as a former counselor, mental health right now for kids is more prevalent now.
Oh yeah.
You know, the last 10 to 15 years, especially on the devices we got right now, right? We didn't have to deal with that shit. Like we didn't have to deal with bullying. Yep. We didn't have to deal with, showing people what we got. You know, we had to really conversate. Like we saw our cousins or our friends when we went to see them. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
So this whole new era. Like I would imagine, in the last 10, 15 years to see this many young people that's not even paying bills yet.
Not even paying bills, got everything.
You know
what I'm saying?
I mean, listen, I commend you all because I believe each and every one of you work in the same, I don't like to say it, but you guys work in the same field, right? You guys are all in the same building. You guys could all be in the same building at any given time. Right?
Yep.
So for me, I mean, I just want to commend you guys because I know what you probably see every day. And for somebody, and you guys seem like you have a level of compassion that when you see it kind of breaks your heart. So you can get your heart broken 3-4 times a week.
That's a fact. You do.
And for me, anytime somebody talks about, and the way I came up, like I told you, my grandmother and grandfather was around, but my father stayed with us once my grandfather passed. And my father was in the bottle and he had the monkey on his back. So he had a very low tolerance for nonsense.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Like very low. I tried to take something out the pan with a hand muffin on, and he came and took it with his bare hands. Told me we don't raise sissies in this house. So the late 70s and early 80s for me was hardcore. So when we talk about mental stability, I would love to know. I have somebody that does it every day, that deals with that every day. Explain to me how people struggle with that. Is it at home? Because I know we were talking about 14, 15-year-olds on a curfew, but it's difficult when you go to talk to the parent and the parent's 28, 29.
Yeah, I ain't thinking about that, big.
So it's
offending.
There's so many different elements to it. Is how can we get, and like the producer said, how can we get to the bottom of it? Just one person making a point. That means everybody's got to get involved, but everybody can't read a book from front to back like we can. And how are we going to get to them? We got to get to them first so that they can read and understand and comprehend so that they can just move that knowledge to the ones that are 14 and 15 and have no clue. And the gap is where the mental struggle comes from. I just can't fathom it.
Yeah.
You feel me, Mr. Williams? I can't fathom it because I watched my father be drunk and high, and I never touched it. You know what I mean? So I just it's hard for me to understand it. Like in the 80s coming up, I didn't understand no crackhead after we found out how bad crack was. Now in the beginning, wolves and all that, I understood why somebody would try something new from peer pressure. I wouldn't try anything because I watched my pops. But after you know already what it's going to do, anybody that got strung on crack from 92 on, I don't get it. And it needs to be explained to me because I don't get it. So is that where the mental comes from? Because their parents were on drugs through the whole 90s, and the drugs are causing
There's just too many factors. There's too many
You understand what I'm
variables.
There's
saying?
so
Yeah.
many. There's so
There's
many.
so
Like
many
I'll
variables.
give you one. I give you one that's really easy, right? And it's not even about drugs. It's more about, it's more social emotional with like for instance, there's kids that subconsciously don't even know that they impacting themselves by just looking on social media and scrolling through, and like there's a reason why. And Roland and Mac, actually both brothers, you guys can talk before the holidays, right before Halloween, leading up to Christmas. Referrals go up every single year in the school.
Every year.
Every single year, kids lose their mind. I don't care if you were in Brooklyn. I don't care if you're in Poughkeepsie. Kids lose their mind in districts that has the same population as Newburgh, right?
Yep.
And there's a reason for that, right?
Yep.
Because they have these smartphones. They're connected even when they're home. They're connected more than ever, right?
Yes,
And
sir.
when you're home and you're watching commercials and Christmas and Thanksgiving is getting ready to come, and Mac's son and my son and Harvey's kids and our kids looking forward to Thanksgiving and Christmas, and they're
Yeah.
talking about what's going to be under their tree, and other kids subconsciously know that's not their reality,
That's
right? That behavior comes out in other ways,
Yeah.
right? And they don't even know how it's impacting them. So the fights go up, the bullying go up.
Yeah.
They meet at the school, because they done, started the issue over social media over the weekend or snow day or whatever the case may be. And they meeting up at the school and they getting it on.
Yes,
Right.
sir.
So there's a reason why 90% of referrals start on social media now. And that's with every school. They got businesses that's coming out with yonder pouches and things like that. And to me, that is it working? Yeah, but it's a band-aid, right?
It is.
It's not really getting to how we can really help kids in mentally become more healthy, or how to deal with, certain things.
Now, what did you say that was? What would you call that?
A yonder pouch. That's
A yonder pouch is like, I don't know if you've been to one of like a comedy show where they take your phone and you have to lock it up, so you don't have access to your phone.
Okay, yeah.
So right now,
I've
many
done
schools across the country, actually even outside the country as well, they having students lock up their phones. Right? There's actually a show on Netflix that talks about.
It's a yonder pouch.
Yonder pouch.
Yonder pouch.
And everybody get one.
Yeah.
Everybody get one. They got to lock up their phone so they stay off their phone in the school.
Yep.
Wow.
But there's a lot of research that's connected to how that affects you, how these smartphones is impacting students, is a distraction from instruction. But social emotionally, I mean, it's hard, man. I can't keep my kids off of social media completely, but I definitely, there's a balance where it's shut down, no smartphone, no nothing, no devices in my house for this amount of time. And I have to try to create those structures in my house because I know that, I can't take it completely away because it's the world we live in. But I'm trying to educate them more on the impacts of it.
See, for me, man, I think the phones is the worst thing we ever gave our kids. I really
to a degree. I believe that to a degree.
You know what I mean?
You know how I feel.
But you can monitor. You can be the best parent and try to do your due diligence to monitor them on that joint.
But you can't.
Could I say something at that though?
Go ahead.
You know what I'm gonna say.
Go ahead.
It's impacting the adults just as much as it's impacting the kids.
Oh, for sure.
100%.
Because I look on social media and I see adults doing some craziness.
Crazy thing.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
craziness.
I get bullied all the time.
So it's like, okay, we tell them stay off your phone.
Yeah.
And say this. But then they looking at the adults like y'all wilding.
Y'all
That's
worse
Y'all
than
bugging. And
Yeah,
you want
man,
us to get off the phone.
to that point, if you tune in to Instagram or even Facebook to a certain extent, it's like soft porn.
It is.
No. It's not
No,
like
it's like-
soft porn. It's
Huh?
not like
No, it's porn.
it's porn.
Look,
It's
let's
porn.
call it prawn for the algorithm, ladies and gentlemen. Let's call it prawn.
Right now,
Prawn,
hey,
please.
listen,
Prawn.
I don't know who's
Prawn,
listening. I don't know who's listening because
He
I'm
said
on
prawn.
Endeavor, but I'm
Yeah, for the
constantly-
algorithm, that's the thing.
I'm
You call it prawn, so
constantly
you don't
doing
get in
this.
trouble.
And I'm constantly doing this, Mr. Mayor. I'm constantly doing this, and I'm like, what did I watch? That now today I got 80 chicks with half of nothing on. Nothing.
Right.
Wait a minute. I know her.
Yeah.
She used to be at the after school program. Wait a minute. No, can't be. And then I see him for like 4 or 5 days. I got to log off. I got to log all the way
But that's what I mean. How's that
Right.
make us look if we telling the kids, get off that damn phone? And then
Who
you
I'm
look
telling?
at it
Who
like,
I'm telling?
damn, look at
Yo,
this.
my granddaughter, I don't want you on Instagram. She go to my Instagram. I got 18,000 followers.
And everybody's looking for clicks and clickbait. And then the other thing is, like, and now listen, I say this to fellas all the time, and I'm not hating on this, but I'm just stating the facts. You know, now you see women in the grocery store, you see women in the mall, you see women in everyday life in the school, you see teachers in the school who are females wearing these leggings, these stretchy pants that you know used to be for the gym or whatever. And you're like, yo, back in the days in the 70s when I was a little guy in elementary school, that's like wearing, you know, the stockings without the dress.
Listen, Mr. Mayor, I understand your point, but we can't take that away.
I'm not saying taking it away. I'm saying this is what we're dealing with. That's, you know,
I mean, like, all right, I gotta play the other side on it. Like,
why?
What they would say is that you shouldn't be looking at them like that.
What?
Bro?
Am I right, Mr. Williams? Am I right? He laughing because it's true. But listen. It's reality in the sense that this is real. Like, we can say all this, but if it got into that environment and it was spoken, it'd be a serious problem.
Oh, for sure.
It'd be a serious problem.
Roland, this is a safe space.
No, there's no safe space because they got people watching everywhere. So
It's
true. That's true.
You're wearing the stockings without the dress, bro.
Yeah, and Roland, I understand. Should you be looking? I sat and I was talking to my lady, and I gave her all the little nuances that I use to get a look. Now, since we looking this way and somebody coming this way, I will find something over here to look at so that when that woman walks past, I can look and she's just crossing my line of vision.
Exactly.
Now, and there's a 5-second rule. And she was like, wait, 5 seconds. And she counted to 5. She said, nah, 5 seconds is a long time. So what are we doing looking? We can't.
Right.
Hey, listen, man. I
Because
love the TikTok,
you're coming outside.
No, but what I'm trying to say is, like, okay, men look, blah, blah, blah. But we can't be faulting them for their outfits because, oh, you made me look. Yeah. That's not floating today in 2024. That's not floating today. You try that shit in the court of law or some shit. They made me. You go to the judge and be like, Judge, look what they was wearing. They made me look. Judge gonna laugh your ass.
Roland,
so the topic at hand was the adults is inappropriate using social media.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and it starts with our culture, right? Because again, here goes the social studies teacher. Culture is food, music, dance, and how you dress. That's culture and your language.
Yeah.
So you're coming outside with the black pantyhose without the dress. What culture? That's the new dominant culture.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
Even teachers in the building are wearing those to school. It ain't like they're going to work out. They're wearing
Yeah.
those in school, bro, to teach.
Hey, Mr. Mayor, can you stay on when we go off air? Because I want to talk to you about that, but I don't want to talk about it on air.
Okay.
Well, listen,
Mr. Williams, they coming into school to teach with those stretchy pants on.
They gonna say you can't wear your Adidas suits, man. You better chill.
Yep.
It's a sweatsuit. It's a sweatsuit.
That's what I'm saying. You can't have one standard for them and not a standard for yourself.
Yeah,
Come on,
that's the thing.
Roman.
You can't be wearing those gray sweatpants coming into
That's the
school.
thing,
You
man.
can't be wearing them gray sweatpants coming into school now. You
Roman.
can't be wearing that.
They're
You
coming
making
out
them look.
hot.
You making them look
Roman.
hard.
let's segue to another topic real quick. I wanted to talk about a couple more things before, I know everybody's busy and stuff, but just give me a little bit more time if y'all don't mind. I also wanted to talk about the lack of common sense of today's generation and how we got to dumb things down for them nowadays. Like, I feel like they literally don't have common sense. I feel you can't teach common sense.
Yeah, you gotta remember we got a episode on that.
Yeah, I know, but still, we got a whole new panel. I know, it just
They don't
wanted
need common sense anymore.
huh?
They don't need common sense anymore.
They don't, man.
But when you got a bunch of kids in your house, you know what I'm saying? Like, you need it because, like, you get annoyed quick, like you said, like I'm like our aunt was, because like I don't have patience for
Do
if
you
I
think?
tell you not to put your hand on the fire, you're like, oh, it hurts, and you know better. You should know better than that. But like my wife and I would talk about it. She was like, yo, listen, you got to dumb things down for them. For this generation, you got to dumb things down.
But do you think it's because of? Do you think it's the fact that we got to dumb things down, or do you think the fact that we live in a microwave society, meaning that right now everything is done for us? I mean, you can tell Siri to ask for directions. You can call Alexa in your house and they can put music on. You can we got smart watches, so we got everything that's done. Even the rap music now that the kids are listening to, right? Like it's very simple. It's simplistic. Like you're not really, nobody is saying anything. There's no real there's no real conscious music. It's not really telling a story. We talked about Ghostface when we first got on, but there's times where we used to have to, on the radio, we used to have to rewind and play to learn the lyrics to really hear what they were saying.
Yeah,
you got to do that now. You can learn to sing along right away.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that they're going to grasp common sense because it's not. What is it when you go to college? You have electives and then you have
content classes.
The classes like
prerequisites.
Okay, so you have those. I don't think it's a prerequisite to have common sense because you can get away or you can get by. You can get by now. You ain't even got to leave the house to work no more. Like you can literally just get by.
Fact.
Get by well off. Like there are guys that work from home that make twice as much as I make, and I make a good penny. I make a pretty good penny for what I do and DJing. So, and as far as the music of today, the songs are 2 minutes and 47 seconds. When I tell you, I used to be able to put a song on, go to the bathroom, get a drink, drop a line on somebody at the bar, and make it back to put the next one on. I can't even get out the booth now. The song's over. So it's the entire way of life. They don't even need it. They don't even. So what we have to do, I think, is push common sense on the ones that we can reach and the ones within our reach. My nieces and nephews, my little cousins, my homie's little brother. If I can instill common sense in them, I'm doing my part, because the rest of them, they don't even care. And you guys see it every day.
Every day. But
it's a tough
I also have another one too. This topic is a little, why aren't kids? I think me and Roland talk about this a lot too, about why kids aren't having kids today. Why y'all think that?
Why kids are what?
why kids aren't having kids. Like, meaning why aren't, what I mean, I don't want to say kids. I want to say young adults. Why aren't young adults having kids today? What's the, because like the population is going down. Most kids you ask, most young adults you ask, they'll tell you, I don't want kids no more. I don't want kids at all. You know what I'm saying?
That brings a responsibility that they just don't want or don't care for. Because honestly, like I always say, if you have a kid, your life is over. And you need to you need to recognize that. I'm dead serious, man. I'm dead serious.
But come on, son.
Right? But not forever, but you gotta raise them till they grow up, go to college, and
Yo, roll on. My life is over, man. 5 times.
But when, right. You see what I mean? Like, because once I don't have kids, but this is how I see from like my nephews and nieces. When you bring a life into this world, it's no longer about you no more. Yeah, it's not about you no more. But there's a mentality amongst the culture that, oh, I had this baby. Well, why can't I have fun? When am I gonna be able to do this? I can't have fun. No, you can't have fun. Because you chose to do this. You chose to put yourself in this position, and you're gonna make a child suffer because you want to go out to the club, because you want to hang out and do all this stuff.
That mentality is not new.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I've heard women in the 90s say, I want to go out, I want my life back.
Yeah, it's
4, 5, 6 years old kids, I want my life back, I want to go out.
But I read something that said, Mac, that kids are staying home more. They're not leaving home. Put it like that.
Yeah, well, that was next. That was what I was going to ask about next. Again, why aren't they leaving home, man?
Well, listen. There's a bunch of factors in that. The economy, they can't afford to go out.
And it's comfort and convenience.
You give them a warm bed.
But think about it. All right, let's not. I mean, we could joke about it, but for a person to get a 1-bedroom apartment right now and what Jobs is paying, it ain't that easy for somebody to just leave the house anymore.
That's true.
I went looking for a house. Like I went looking for a house, and I'm like, yo, cool. I'm gonna get a house that's like 200, 250, and there's no more houses for 200 and 250 anymore.
Nope.
It's 400,000 across the board.
Who helped
That's like a room.
Huh? No, but it was different back then. No. It cost a lot less back then.
Hey man, my grandmother used to have
the money I have now, my dad would make. He was able to buy a house, take care of us, all that. I can't afford a house now with the money that I make the same as my pops. It's impossible. It's impossible.
Yeah, I can tell you for free that if I was Kurt's son and he allowed it, I wouldn't be off of that terrace. I got the hill that I can work out on. I got internet. All I have to do is bring in enough money. I got to take out the garbage. I can work online. I can, if I'm hungry and nobody wants to cook, there's Uber and Uber Eats and all of that. I ain't got to go off the terrace. I would be there for 24 months.
The same way.
Oh,
the same way. It's they say it's too expensive. But the same way we didn't have all of that. We didn't have DoorDash. We didn't have all this food. We didn't have any of that. So who gave a damn about me? I was in the streets 3 days.
What about Cash App? You know, our kids need cash. They want DoorDash, or they want.
Man, they do it all.
I send you $1 on Cash App. Let me get $1. I'll send it back to you on Cash App.
Like that.
Before the scammers, Cash App was the best thing I had seen in a while because the fees were less than PayPal. I could send my granddaughter money.
Cash App is great if you're not doing big numbers.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Right.
If you're not doing big numbers, Cash App is a very, very good tool.
It lasts 60 days. 60 days.
As soon as they say, Dad, can I get $25? I'm hungry. Boom. Cash App, they got it in 4 seconds.
Kurt, did that happen to me
today?
$25
off. That's only a McDonald's meal today.
That's it.
That's all I'm giving them.
What's that?
Well, we don't say that, right?
Order 25. Make it happen.
We all say that. But these hustle like okay, but we say that, but these kids don't hustle like we used to hustle. Like and that's also like, again, you can yeah, it might be expensive to get an apartment, but that means you should be getting your hustle on 2 or 3 jobs. You should be able to do all of that. You understand what I'm saying? Why not? Like I know it's so many jobs nowadays that young adults and teenagers to young adults that they'll get the job, but they don't want, their work ethic sucks.
Yeah.
They don't want to do nothing. They want you to just hand them a check every week, and they don't want to do nothing. And then after they're done with that one job, they say, "All right, I worked." You know what I'm saying?
Right, but think about
3 hustles, bro. You need 2 or 3 hustles.
Think about all my kids got Apple laptops. All my kids got cell phones that I pay. They don't pay nothing on the cell phone. My kids got, huh?
You gotta make them pay, bro.
No, I know. Well, now they looking for jobs, but they got TVs, they got flats, they got at least a 32 flat inch screen TV in their bedrooms. They got PlayStation and all this stuff in their bedrooms. So guess what?
This kid's got more than me in my crib.
Right. They so comfortable and convenient.
Yeah. Where are you gonna go? I just told you that. Let me borrow $8 since you buying all these electronics, man.
So hard. Was it your fault?
It's my fault because, like I said, we want our kids to have more than what we had.
Yeah, but when does that become like a crutch for them, man? And that's what's keeping them home and stuff like that, man. Like, it's time for us to teach them, man. Like, yo, you got to earn everything. You got to get your hands dirty. A lot of these boys nowadays, they don't even want to take out the trash. I could just tell you from my kids, man, they're great kids, man, but they get a little bit of dirt on their hands and they taking the trash. Yo, dad, man, the trash on my fingers. I'm like, yo, stop it, bro. Like, really? Like,
I don't want to cut the hedges. I gotta pay the Mexican guy to come every 4 days to cut my grass.
Me too.
Yo, let's keep it real though. We want to
hold on, Kurt.
Why, bro?
You got a lot of grass, man.
I do.
You got a lot of grass, man.
It's making a difference, bro.
Yo, hey man, before we get out of here, before we get out of here, man. Hey, I'm raw, right? Because I grew up raw. And all that we have said tonight, it's a little bit of bullshit, and I'm just gonna keep it a rack with you. And I'm not sitting around here. I'm saying, get off the titty, get off the freaking titty, man. I'm tired of these soft ass niggas. Everybody's soft. They soft. None of that. 1996, when I was sitting damn near 17, 18, ain't nobody gave a damn about me. I was in the streets 3 days in a row. I was under a stoop serving customers back and forth. You got this one, I got that one. Everybody soft. That's it. They soft. They soft. Ain't nobody never saved us in nothing. I've been raising myself since 12 years old. To hell with them all. In this era, you can all have it. I don't give a damn about it. Period. I don't give a damn. They soft. I ain't making no more excuses. All of it is excuses. I ain't holding their hands. I ain't your mother. Hey man, it's excuses. I'm tired of it. Oh, push them along. Nepotism, push it. Hey, all of it. Hey, look at my finger. All of it. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. Everybody's soft. The parents suck. They don't want to do the job. They want to be in the damn bed, sucking and screwing though.
All day.
But the kids out here wailing.
Yeah.
Killing people, telling grown-ups suck my F you. Hey man, screw it all. I'm tired of it. Everybody's soft. Ain't nobody can save me. Nobody. I was selling crack. Ain't nobody can save me. Nobody. Okay. So, I'm tired of it, man. If we're gonna have a real discussion, let's have a real discussion.
Thanks.
My grandmother, she was a strong lady. She raised 13 niggas. All right. We was all in one room. And we all had to figure it out. Tell them niggas to figure it out. They got YouTube. Okay, man. My grandmother used to say, bullshit ain't nothing but chewed up grass. That's all it is, man. I'm tired of holding their hands.
Chewed up grass.
Do that.
Chewed up grass.
You know what I'm saying? They got their mothers. Let them have their mothers. The mothers let them suck on the mother. That's all they want to do. They soft. They soft, son.
That's a fact, bro.
Bullshit ain't nothing but chewed up grass.
So,
And
so
that's all they ever be. I'm not giving no excuses. They all need to get up and get the hell out. Point blank, period.
Because again, I get it that it's expensive.
Ah, man, bull crap. Nobody gave a damn about us, man. Nobody. When my father was killed and decapitated, ain't nobody came from us. We've been out here since 12 years old, wilding. We've been in gangs. We've been in everything. We seen niggas get shot, all that. I'm tired of it. I'm not giving none of them no excuses. None of them. None of them. If you want it, go and get it, just like we did. And if you don't, we was 12 years old. 12. When my father died, that's when my life was over.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
My life was over, and we had to pick up the pieces.
We had to figure that piece out. But that's what I'm saying.
Did.
We
did, man. I mean, what I got today, Jesus Christ gave me what I got today.
So
and I'm thankful for that.
And that's not to cut them off, but that's a testament of. That's why
I'm tired of it, man. It's a bunch of excuses
that come from the same type of trouble and the same type of mountain to climb don't want their children to climb not one mountain because of how high they had to climb,
that's
and how much they had to fight.
That's fine. I'm with that. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm with you know, raising them and, you know, giving them things and, you know, that we didn't have and stuff like that. But
nobody came to save me, man.
Two, when do you tell them, when do you like, all right, it's time to go. It's time to get out there on your own to figure it out. You know what I'm saying, Roland? Because we talk about this a lot. So when is enough? When you can't be having them in forever, yo. You can't have them in your crib forever. Like, like when do I guess is what you said. Your life is over, and because when you in the crib, you can't even walk in the crib with the drawers on.
You know what? But you know
you can't do none of that no more.
You rolled in the other room. You know what, bro? You in the other room.
Well, Mac, you know what? I was at a anti-gun violence basketball game at the Rec today, right? And I was connected with one of my former students from 2008. He graduated NFA 2008. He's a young man that came from the Ave. You know, we call him Damon Herring, right?
Yep.
And he and I was talking about putting 101 men together. 101 men together.
I'm with it.
So we can network and we can come together and talk about how to support one another and mentor some of these young boys. And you know what we was talking about? We was talking about your family creating a trust company.
Yep.
Your family being able to make your kids your beneficiary to the trust. And like when someone dies, they got life insurance, and that life policy goes into the trust.
About that.
And then we're talking about the HELOC. The HELOC, which is the home equity line of credit, you know what I'm saying, against the equity of a home. Because every time a Kennedy is born, $1 million is opened up for that kid's name in a trust, and that $1 million gains compound interest until that kid turns 18 years of age. All right. And it got to the point where the Kennedys own, you know, a compound, not you know, a mansion or not, you know, 30 acres of land. They own a compound in Hyannisport, Massachusetts, right? And when you look at the Bush family, they own a compound in Texas. It's called the Crawford Ranch. Go look up, Google the Crawford Ranch by the Bush family, and you see 5 meadows. You say, well, what's a meadow? A meadow is a geographic term, means that it's a very large hilly land. They got 5 meadows. They got, you know, 10 ponds with koi fish. They got it's a compound. The Crawford Ranch. They got the acreage in the Bush family Crawford Ranch is as large as the city of Newburgh.
Dang, that's crazy.
Wow.
Google it, please. Every black and black and Latino brother on this website, on this
Okay.
podcast, please Google the Bush family Crawford Ranch.
I'm on it
And
now.
All right. So when we say, oh, our kids got to grow up, and we got to let them out to the winds so they can figure it out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I just want everybody to conscientiously be aware that there's another culture in our universe, all right, among white Americans that have a different mindset.
But I understand that because I have a talk like even yesterday when we was where all three of us was at the board yesterday. You know what I mean? One of my childhood friends, we were talking about it, and we were talking about that too. And they were just like, they said the same thing, and everybody says the same thing. That's fine. I'm okay. I'm okay with trying to build generational wealth with my family, with my children. I want that. But again, the work ethic sucks with them. They're entitled. They don't want to work. They don't want to put in like you could be. I could imagine if let's say if us on this panel we all were like millionaires and we had our own businesses. We want our kids to take over the business. They're going to be like, I don't want to do that. I just want to spend money and keep going. So what do you do then? So how do you what goals say his family, the Wu family, keep his family and our family, and that's big. Yo, it's not like that, bro. I would love for it to be like that. That I told my wife that the other day. I said, yo, listen, wouldn't mind if they stayed in the crib. I don't mind, but we all got to be doing something together. My grandmother used to have a saying, united we stand, divided we fall.
Yep.
So if we stand like this, then I'm fine. But if all that I taught my kids, if they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, somebody going to school, Dad, I got this part, yo, you don't got to leave the compound. Now let's make it bigger.
And
but
that's
see, Harv, they don't want that. They just want to be coddled. They want things handed to them. They're lazy. They're entitled. They don't want none of that.
So we gotta have those.
Huh?
Right, we gotta have those conversations with them on how they can. It's about collective economics, right? It's just like when you look at the Kwanzaa principles, right? How as Black and Latinos, you know what I'm saying? How do we change the narrative from letting them out to the winds of the elements in the universe like that Martin King talks about? He said, how you tell a bootless man to pull himself up from his own bootstraps? And he was speaking of that in the context of African Americans being freed from slavery and not having anywhere to go and not having any resources and anything to live an independent life. It's the same concept with our children, right? How do you tell a bootless child to pull himself up from his own bootstraps when he don't have boots to begin with? So we got to start changing the narrative and changing the mindset on how can we have more dialogue about collective economics so we're not pushing our kids out to the world to figure it out, right? How do we create entrepreneurs? How do we create, the compound? How do we build and get them into understanding money, banking, and finance? How do we get them to understand, the stock market? How do we get them to understand how to be entrepreneurs and creating intellectual properties so that royalties and residual income can come in while you're doing, your day-to-day job, right? And you got royalties and so like I just released a third book. It's a children's book. Mr. Williams' wife, and they just released their first children's book. So we want to create intellectual properties so that royalties and residual income, which diversifies our income, can continue to come in. Because I get royalty, I get 2 royalty checks twice a year. My book royalty comes in July, and then another book royalty check comes in from my publisher in January, right? So
July.
Yeah. So I got a book royalty check coming this July, and I got another one coming. It comes twice a year, right? So I just added a third book to my arsenal, right? So I'm talking to my children about, I'm working 9 to 5. I work 2 9 to 5s,
Yes,
But
sir.
now that I got 2 9 to 5s, now I'm creating these intellectual properties that will supersede lifetime.
Yes, sir.
You know, and those are the kind of conversations like Dame Dash. I listen to Dame Dash, the real Dame Dash, like
Yes,
you know,
sir.
from Rockefeller, you
Yeah.
know, and I listen to him when he defines a boss, you know, being able to hand down businesses that he's created entrepreneurially to his children, right? And so like that's the direction I'm hoping that all of us can move in
Yes.
that direction. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yo, so it's been great tonight, fellas. Before we go, and and can you shout out your book? Tell them where to find it. Harv, you can tell if you can shout out your book to tell them where to find it. Roland, if you got something out there, let us know. You know what I'm saying? I just want to thank all y'all for having all y'all, man. Yo, much appreciate y'all, man. I just wanted to, get a bunch of brothers in here to hear a couple of their opinions on some of the topics I wanted to talk about. I hope to see y'all again on my piece, man. Real talk.
For sure.
It's been
Yeah.
great. Everybody who was in, who chimed in, the watchers. We got more coming with us, from what this came from, these topics here. Please don't forget to comment, share, subscribe. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you was here with us, and I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank Jesus for the podcast. Thank Jesus for you, brothers, and we out.
Hold up. We're gonna plug the books, right? Go ahead, Ant.
That's what I'm saying. Go ahead.
Well, my book actually wrote by my wife Yaya Whaley Williams. It's called My Trip to the Bookseum. My Trip to the Bookseum. You can buy it at Barnes and Nobles online. You can buy it at Amazon online. You can buy it at a Walmart online. It's called My Trip to the Bookseum. We also own a store called Sadie's Books and Beverages on 37 North Street in Middletown. First black-owned bookstore in Orange County.
That's fire,
And
man.
I do want to extend our invitation, brother. Thanks for having me. And anytime if we want to do this podcast in person,
Okay.
I would we would support by hosting one of the shows here in the bookstore.
That's
Good
fire.
looking. Much appreciated, my brother. Thank you.
Fire.
No doubt.
Thank
So
you.
also, I want to plug. I got 3 books. My first book was Yasin Kofa. It's a book of poetry published in 2017. My second book, after the shooting of George Floyd, inspired another series of poems. And my book, America, America, was an open letter to the United States of America of the social justice movement to stop shooting and killing Black and Latino men in our communities. And that was published in 2021. I just released last week my first children's book. It's Hey Mr. Mayor, My Neighbor, to teach young kids about local governments and mayors in small cities versus mayors in large cities. I'm on all book digital platforms, Amazon, Walmart, Target, Dorrance Publishing website, all the book, Kindles, all of that. And when I get off this podcast, I'm gonna go buy Yaya Williams's book that Mr. Williams just mentioned. I'm buying that right out as soon as I get off. So hope y'all support my books. And let me tell you something. That's the direction I think we all need to go in, especially with P-Tech. I always tell our students, if you really want to be wealthy or rich, invent something. Invent something that has a high utilization. Even like the sticky notes that we use in colleges, corporate America. Somebody invented the sticky note. It's a square piece of paper with an adhesive on one side, and the utilization for that is very high, and people use those sticky notes all over the world. So
And
we got
can I just add that there's power in literature, fellas. Like
Yeah.
over 70% of black men who's incarcerated are they're illiterate, right? So
Sure.
there's a thing called school to prison pipeline. If you don't know, please research it. Is one of the reasons why I got into education is to dismantle the school to prison pipeline. It's a real thing. They start building prisons based on reading scores for particularly black and brown children in 3rd grade. So I would challenge every one of you. We do a workshop here where we actually teach people in the community how to write their own book. And I heard a lot of testimonials here that should be shared, that should be documented, for our kids to learn from.
Facts.
So I would definitely welcome you and encourage you guys. Put your story and your testimony in the book. And document it because it's important, and our kids should be reading about it.
Yes, sir. All right, fellas. I appreciate everybody,
All right,
man.
let me get some love, son. I ain't get no love for my stuff, son.
You know what I mean? Get some love,
Get
brother.
some
Get
love.
love.
I'm about to reading too. Hold on. I have a company. It's called Mildred's Love Media. You can find us on Instagram. Out of that company, I birthed two other things called Rogue Nation 845. We do vlog videos. We do audio. You can find that on Instagram. You can hit that up if you need an event done. You need a vlog. You need something done right. You can hit that up. I also have the Council of Comics. Like Mr. Williams was saying, reading is very important. I got into reading. My mom used to buy me these thick books, and I couldn't read them because I was getting headaches. But then I found comic books in the store one day, and I was like, "Can I have these?" And she's like, "Sure." So I started my journey on reading through comic books. And comic books is a great forum for people to learn to start reading and getting into it because it's not just a bunch of words. That's what throws kids off sometimes. It's just a bunch of words. But like with the kids' books, that if you have a picture, you have something that can go with the words, the kids can formulate something. And comic books are more of a mature thing about that. So I have a YouTube channel as the Council of Comics. I also encourage everybody to get their kids into comics. If you're having trouble finding comics, just let me know. Hit me up on the Council of Comics 2 on Instagram. We have a lot of books that we can give for kids. We get them cheap, and it's just to encourage them to keep reading. So Council of Comics, Mildred's Love Media, Rogue Nation 845. You can find all that on Instagram.
Got you, my brother. All right, brothers, man. I appreciate y'all again. Have a great night, great weekend. Hope to have y'all on again, man. Love y'all, brothers, man. Thank you.
Love y'all too, man.
All right.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Hey, yo, Cuss, man, that was a pretty good joint, man. Like that, man.
Huh?